So Good Music is brought to you by TCF Co-working and Social Club. Get out of the house, get work done, make new friends. ClubTCF.com. I'm Jason Mundock, and this is So Good Music, conversations with artists making new music in and around Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Today on the program, it's Sun Not Yellow. Jesse Barki, Cory Paternoster, welcome to the program.
Hello.
Great to be here.
I always like to start with this question about sort of the description of the music from a different perspective than yours. If you're sitting in a cafe, sitting in a bar, and you overhear somebody talking about Sun Not Yellow to their friend, what would you want them to say?
I feel like the word that I really like to hear with our band is dynamic. You know, I think, we can be pretty loud, but we can also be pretty soft too. So I think dynamic is usually a word that that kind of tickles my fancy as far as that kind of goes. I think I've heard other people describe us as that, and I feel like that's a pretty good descriptor of what we're at least trying to do.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would prefer, well, not prefer or anything, but if I were overhearing, I think we have a lot of, intricacies. We have we have 4 different people in the band. We're all doing pretty busy stuff. We're all trying to fill the space where needed. So I feel like intricate would be a really cool word to hear people say, but also at the same time, maybe digestible at the same time, because we do try to balance out anything too complex with sort of this gloss or sheen over the top of it to kind of present itself to a wider range of audience, Same with we kind of come from a place of like rock music, rock and roll, indie rock, alternative rock. But at the same time, I've been listening to a lot more like R&B and funk and groove, and Caden and Cory both have as well.
Yeah.
So again, I like to find that balance of we have this sort of aggressiveness, this maybe we come from a place of punk and rock and roll, but at the same time we're groovier than that, and it's kind of this sort of I don't know, this cover in a way that we blend the two, and are digestible in a lot of different ways.
I love that.
Styles. Yeah.
You guys both have been around this scene for a long time now.
It has been a while.
Well
now.
over a decade, active in the Lancaster scene, doing a lot of different projects. Why do you do it? What gives you the motivation when you wake up in the morning to make music in this area?
Yeah. I mean, Lancaster is just such a great community for, nurturing this kind of I guess eclectic music. There's just so many different kinds of bands, and there's also really cool bands that roll through here just because circumstantially where Lancaster is. It used to be a lot more with the Chameleon Club and stuff like that. Unfortunately, with that gone, there's been some other venues stepping up and stuff, but there's still this large variety of just all sorts of genres that kind of pass through here. And I feel like, at least for me, the reason that I want to make this music is because it scratches an itch. I feel like for all my bands, I try to have one kind of genre that we're really chasing. And I mean, Sun Not Yellow is probably one that I feel like every time we write a new song, we're still deciding what genre we're chasing. But no, it's
fun.
It's the fun of it. So I think the biggest thing that keeps me excited about it is that Lancaster is just so open to welcoming new and creative things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Jesse, I know you do solo music. You play in this band. You have other projects. What drives you to create?
I was thinking about it, and I feel like, there's sort of 2 answers to that question. My friendships, my relationships, the people that I spend time with, are all people that play music, musicians that I grew up with. My dad was a drummer growing up. So I was always around that world, and I've always been attracted to those people because, I don't know, those people, people that play music have always just seemed so happy and in such a good place. And when we're talking about music, it just feels at home. And I kind of attribute that to how therapeutic music can be for people. I think that it, sort of releases demons sometimes. We're able to voice things in different ways, whether what we're feeling, or maybe not exactly directly verbalize it, but release the energy that we're feeling inside of us, which is also good. It's not good to bottle things up.
Sure.
So, in a lot of different ways, I think musicians benefit from this sort of free therapy.
Sun Not Yellow has been around for a long time as a band. Latest release, late 2025. The Kids Are Back. Talk to me about that album.
We started writing that in Hudson Valley the end of 2023. I think it was December. And we all just decided to take a weekend. We went up to a studio called The Building, which is my friend Lee's studio in the Hudson Valley. And we spent a couple nights there, and it was like a mini band vacation for us.
Woodshedding.
We went in with a little bit of an idea of all right, we're going to write, we're going to work on this many songs. There was a little bit of that, but at the same time, we didn't force too hard.
Yeah.
Maybe at a point or two, we were kind of all right, we're going to write a song like this. Let's do this. But ultimately, we let each other just kind of explore, our own directions to see how what we're all doing or think is cool in our parts will come together as. And I think 5 of the songs from the record came from that. And then this whole process felt pretty freeing to me. We didn't rush anything. We weren't setting a deadline for an album. So, we as songs came to me, I was able to bring them to the rest of the band and be here's an idea I have. Let's do this. Or vice versa. I think there were definitely a few songs where Cory and Caden started with grooves and then I would add guitar and everything.
Yeah.
But I think a big, nice thing that I learned during this record was not to force things. It felt natural. And I know that sometimes there is time budgeting to be had and there's a place for it. But it's not always to be sort of the guiding force. So, ultimately we got half a record done in New York. And then over the next, I think, couple months or so, we worked on a few more songs, maybe once a month or so, added another song or two to the list that we had. And we would just record them as they came to us, pretty much. And then it became this sort of compilation of, the year of 2024 pretty much is I think most of the time we were working on it.
That's a great way of working, really. I mean, if you have that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
What a great way to just sort of let the muse and the inspiration guide the project, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we really kind of let the music be the sail for where we were going. You know, like Jesse said, we probably did 5 or 6 songs up in New York, which is there's definitely something to be said about setting up microphones in a really nice studio and just playing, and just having it ready to go. Going out for lunch and then coming back and being oh, we're already set up. We approached it with all right, how are we going to play these as a 3-piece? That's I think it was the original theme of the record. How are we going to make this sound as cool as it can, just the 3 of us, because that's what we plan to do. And then once we kind of got to the other side of that, we were all right. And that's when we decided to add Jake to the mix, because now we add that 4th person. Now live, it's completely different than what the record is, which kind of is another point to be excited about.
Yeah, another dimension to it.
Exactly.
And it might have a little bit to do with where we come from as well. As Mellowells, we were a 4-piece, and I think me personally, I grew up with that, so it's ingrained in me to have sort of a complementing guitar part that can also fill space when I'm doing lead lines or vice versa, and it just feels like home to have that sort of security blanket. That's what that is to me.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the Lancaster scene. A lot of great music coming out right now. There's a lot going on. What are some of your favorite acts that are in Lancaster that don't involve either of you?
Man, that's tough. Because I'm in Philly. I hear about bands. I don't always get the chance to go out and see them though. So I still live in the past when it comes to Lancaster.
It's all right.
music.
There's some great bands that have been around for a long time.
Yeah, bands that don't play as much these days, unfortunately. But I loved Seasonal, R.I.P. Ethan.
Yeah.
And obviously Sleepy Limbs back in the day.
Yeah.
I still listen to them to this day. And those Ben and Joe and John at Kaleidoscope were always just so good to me that I think there is sort of a personal sort of relationship with that band. Not that John was in the band, but being a Kaleidoscope, I love them both.
Yeah.
How about you, Cory?
Right now, I think my favorite band when I get a chance to see them is live is probably the Scouts. Love the Scouts. But the bands that have been really kind of on my radar lately, I that are starting to come back is Still Flow.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know if you've listened to them. They're pretty sweet. I actually biasedly just worked on their most recent record, so that'll be coming out soon. And then the other band that I don't even know if they've really talked about it too much, but they are coming back, is Denny Zinger. So they were around when we first started playing, and we used to play shows with them all the time. And they kind of, I think the singer moved to Pittsburgh for a little bit, so they've kind of been just like kind of under the radar or kind of idling for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think they're about to make a pretty big comeback, so I'm excited to see them rip again live. Yeah, they're pretty wild.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's new bands, there's old bands, there's bands that are, coming back. It's a good time to be here.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's cool to see like, a band kind of like, take their time off and then come back,
For sure.
To see like, what's different about it, energy the same, maybe approaching the music a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about playing in Lancaster? Where's your favorite places to play? I know you've played a lot of times in Lancaster, Jess.
Yeah.
A lot of miles, a lot of hours.
There's a few favorites. I think like overall, like the best experience I feel like was like, well, obviously like Kaleidoscope was really cool and really special. Upside was super cool, super special. We also played a show in the back of Springhouse Brewery back in 2016. That was 10 years ago.
That was crazy. Yeah,
that was, to this day, I mean, we were younger and like we were new to like the Lancaster scene, but that probably will go down in my mind as like one of my favorite shows in Lancaster. Because it just like it felt like there was so much community involved. Like I think it was like sponsored by Rudewood. So Alex, who I just saw a couple nights ago, we just saw at the show. It's just like such a really cool, inviting dude. He was just starting this new like business and was just getting involved in like the local scene, and like they had a big part of that.
Releasing a new beer, I think.
Yeah, we played with Sleepy Limbs. Yeah,
it was like a PA set up in the back of their warehouse.
Yeah,
wow,
like, so much fun.
It was pretty sweet.
It was just so exciting. Yeah. So that was really cool. Like we've been playing West Art a lot lately. West Art's been really great.
Yeah.
Sutropolis is good to us every time we play.
Yeah, and I think, we actually just played a show on Saturday at Tellus 360 run by them and Keller Pro Audio.
Yeah.
Whenever Brett is there, you're just like, oh, we're going to sound great.
Yeah, that was a
It's gonna be
great
amazing.
experience.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, thanks for spending some time with me this morning. This has been great to learn a little bit more about Sun Not Yellow and the process, and I encourage everybody to get out there and listen to The Kids Are Back, the latest from Sun Not Yellow. Thanks, Jesse. Thanks, Cory.
Yeah, dude.
Of course.